I do this fucking shit again. It's the same every fucking year. I named 10 things that are video games that came out in the year of our Lord 2000 and last year. That's with goody sauce. It's always the fucking same. Everyone does this shit. I mean, everyone just thinks I hate everything anyway, so what's the fucking point of even bothering? I hate it. It's like Gods of War. It's so fucking stupid. It couldn't be more blatantly fucking Oscar bait if Kratos was a struggling out-of-work actor trying to smuggle a sickly Jewish boy out of Nazi Germany, and the Gestapo would be played by the troll boss that gets reused a dozen times. Okay, yes, I know. I have constantly insulted this game throughout the course of the year, and I probably will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. Oh wow, this game takes place within a single camera shot. Wow, that would be really impressive if this hadn't already been done before and was a film and wasn't entirely detrimental to the overall experience. It wasn't fucking cheating! However, I do want to at least give it a commendation for at the very least trying, which is more than can be said for most people.
Over the last couple years, and especially in 2017, the Xbox team stepped it up. PUBG is one of the most popular games.
No matter what I say, this is indeed ultimately what I want more of. Games with an emphasis on the writing, but have actually half-decent combat. If only if it was above half-decent. Oh god, I'm really bad at this! Yes, indubitably, Gods of War has gone on the Game of the Gossy list. However, I wanted to make it indubitably clear. This shall go no further than number 10, because I want to make it a point that every other game that every other video game that appears on this list is better than Gods of War. Okay? Right. So, number 15, Bloons Tower Defense 6. Okay, I'm not pulling a funny here. I've genuinely played more of this game than any other game that has come out this year. I'm not fucking joking. I have a problem. As much of a pretentious wanker as I pretend to be, it's the glorified fucking cool maths game that absorbed me more than any other that came out this last year. Not even some weird and obscure indie game like Project Warlock. A game so obscure, when I got it, you could only get it on GOG.com. That's how much of my indie penis you will receive. Shit. If you're indeed a fan of old school boomer shooters like Doom and Duke Nukem 3D and Doom 2, and that's literally it, then you're gonna have a fucking blast with this. Hades was released the very second it was announced. The 5 hours of advertisements with some awards going to have bought the most ad space. The Game Awards. Supergiant games are always worth looking into for their absolutely stunning and gorgeous art direction and soundtrack, and at least one narrator that sounds like a sentient chocolate bar ate Morgan Freeman. Oh, and also to check to see if the gameplay is actually any good this time, which this time it actually is. This is still very much in very early access. However, I just wanted to mention it because it has makings of something very fucking special. It's not quite ready for prime time just yet, but please just get it. Just get it. It's just so fun and charming and beautiful and gorgeous. Almost completely nothing like Streets of Fury, which is an Xbox Live Arcade game from 2011, made in full-motion video Mortal Kombat graphics, which is entirely stupid and mediocre. However, it deserves mentioning because, for some reason, for some absolutely baffling, mind-breaking molestation of reason and logic, I have no idea how or why this has happened, but last year, this game received a free update that added, and I shit you not, this isn't edited or anything, this game added the fucking Nostalgia Critic as an actual honest-to-God fucking character after the controversy went down. And that is objectively the funniest fucking thing to have ever spawned out of all of reality. Holy shit. fucking why? But while we're on the topic of Streets of Furi, it has some of the tightest and most intricate fighting and gameplay mechanics I've ever bloody played in a game. It's absolutely bloody gorgeous. However, it is absolutely elevated to fucking gods here because of this beautiful bastard of a boss right here. I have already explained in another video why this video game is the greatest thing since Sliced Minge, but I highly recommend you watch it. Go ahead, people like that video. People like it when I make videos. But to bring it all down to a finer point, excellence is not an art, it is pure habit, and this game will remind you of that again and again and again by beating you senseless again and again and again until you give it the respect and admiration that it fucking deserves. But speaking of abusive relationships, this is the year I finally got into Smash Brothers. I don't need your pity, fuck you. Halo Online was an important title. That reminded me of a lot of things. It reminded me why I loved Halo in the first place, why I loved video games in general. It reminds me of all those all-night LAN parties I used to do with my friends back in high school, where all we did was play Halo 3 until the sun came up. It also reminded me of why Microsoft's gaming division is a pathetic failure, worthy only of scorn and ridicule. Honestly, what have you done in the past couple years? Sea of Thieves, Gears of War Pop Vinyl, put Minecraft on PC again? But speaking of Microsoft being ridiculous idiots, Sunset Overdrive has some of the worst trendy millennial bullshit comedy writing I have ever seen in a fucking video game.
Yeah, science, bitch!
But that aside, it's easily the best Xbox One exclusive, which I know the bar is set lower than the high jump at the Midget Olympics, particularly when it's been ported to Steam at a particularly reasonable price, might I add. The gameplay is fun as all knobs, and I absolutely adore the bright and cartoony aesthetic. And being able to play it on an actually sensible platform alongside Crash Bandicoot Nsane Trilogy is definitely a bonus, particularly seeing as originally it felt really unbelievably stiff and outdated to play with the 8 direction controls and but if you play it on the good platform, you get all the fits and fannies. Omnidirectional movement, 60 FPS, Xbox One controller, the only perfect place to play this fucking game. And apparently you don't even have to mod it first, like I said would be nice in that video I made without doing a single scrap of research at all. Whoops. Although it would be nice if you could actually unlock skins, which is weird that you can't do that. So many funny things they could have done, like Retro Crash, or Fake Crash, or the creepy marketing guy Crash, or Nathan Drake, or Goblin Slayer. God, I absolutely adore Goblin Slayer. It's so much fun. I will admit, it's not perfect. It's not even the best fantasy anime I've seen recently, but I'm sorry, I'm just a sucker for the man literally too angry to die character archetype, except for that one. We've been through this. It's actually fucking hilarious how much goblins are made out to be the most evil, detestable, vile fucking shits on the planet. Although it would be rather remiss of me not to mention the somewhat out of place, non-consensual pip-pipping of the diddly-doo. I will admit it is a bit weird how the first episode is, and then the rest of the show is just your fairly typical light fantasy, ha-ha, wacky, happy, fun times, beating the pussy off the stick, da-da-da. Although, if I am being totally honest, I just find the horrendous clashing of tones to be fucking hilarious. Although I am slightly mad. I mean, not quite as mad as Rico Rodriguez, which put aside all of the emotionless slaughter and the destroying all of a country's infrastructure in order to somehow save all of its civilians and his inner ear made of solid steel. What most scares me about him is his blatant schizophrenia. I mean, in the first game, he was Antonio Banderas, and then in the second game, he is a man of an ethnicity who had gone through at least 7 Vietnams, and then in the third game, he was for some reason a mix of Nathan Drake and Critical, and then in the fourth game, his I don't fucking care there, and I refuse to fucking look because you could not pay me to touch that AIDS-ridden filth. I mean, for fuck's sake, if there was any game series worthy of the Saints Row method of sequel progression, this was fucking it. It basically writes itself. Rico Rodriguez discovers the mystical infinity grappling hook, which he uses to grapple all the way to the fucking Andromeda Galaxy, which from there he must overthrow the galactic overlord Brabble by destroying all of his lithium mines with his throbbing cock laser in order to install a proxy US-friendly leader. But putting aside my dizziest daydreams, Just Cause 3 is genuinely on my list of favoritist games ever made, ever. It's just ridiculous, over-the-top, insane, ridiculous genius. That is, of course, if you have the DLC. Without the DLC, it's just a lukewarm follow-up to Just Cause 2. But with the DLC, you become Rico Rodriguez, the human fucking jet engine at merely the press of a button, which in and of itself fundamentally changes how you play the fucking game. I don't know what it is about me and grappling hooks. Maybe it takes me back to my childhood days where I looked at my yo-yo with lustful intentions. Anyway, I fucking love this franchise. Swinging around in this world is just heroin-dicking fun. I fucking love it. Almost as fun as Spider-Man. Actually, it's not, but yeah, I needed a segue. But anyway, I had an absolute ball and a half playing Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Alright, this is going to take a hot minute to unpack. Look, Insomniac Spider-Man, great game. A lot of fun with it. But I imagine it as like a purebred German Shepherd. But Spider-Man Web of Shadows, that's more of a staffy mixed corgi with 3 legs. Both are dogs, and both are fantastic in their own unique and personal ways. However, I'm just more attracted to the unique charm of the 3-legged stuff corgi. It's just all of its rough edges that I find so awfully charming. And I will always take unintentionally funny dialogue over broad, inoffensive humor any day of the week, anytime.
You have the perfect skill for stopping the extortion racket these gangs have been running.
I do?
These thugs will stand in front of every door on the street, intimidating the good folks that live there into paying protection money.
Now that's just mean.
Yet for all of its faults, there's a lot more depth and nuance and buzzwords to the combat than there is in Nimnomniac Spider-Man. There's a split combat system where you switch between normal Spider-Man, who shoots webs at people and is fast and agile, more suitable to air combat. And then there's symbiote Spider-Man, who fucking Tony Hawks people to death and throws cars around, whips people with tentacles and splatter. Holy shit, I just ended street crime. What do you mean I got the bad ending? But also just in general, the enemies are more creative and the boss fights are more fun and there's actually wall combat. Huge missed opportunity. And also there's a bunch of anime references for some reason. Yeah, you get your Kamehamehas and your auras and you do that funny run where it looks like you're trying to escape your own hands. Okay, in not its defense, I does agree. It's got a stupid fucking binary moral choice system, which, okay, let me get this straight. When Mass Effect 3 had a stupid binary moral choice system that judged every good and every bad action you make, only for none of those choices to master a single fucking sausage because the ending is decided by a lefty button or a righty button, everyone crucifies it like it shats on the Christ of Jesus. But when Red Dead Redemption 2 does it, it's heralded as the second coming of Allah. Or more accurately, its terrible, blindingly obvious flaws are pushed to the side so that we don't have to feel so bad about our current life decisions, like the terrible gunplay, or the handholdy repetitive missions, or throwing gays off of rooftops. Wow, why do people find it hard to think that I like things? Look, I'm a cunt, I get it, I know, but bullshit aside, the writing is ricey-ticey, and the gameplay is enjoyable if a little skewy, and it's an absolute blast to play as the rooty-tooty cowboy shooty man. It's just as simple as that. Not everything has to be this mind-bending, complex, intellectually driven shit like Death Grips. Come on, I don't need to defend this one. It's Death Grips. You're the Snitch. Goes fucking hard. Also, Mr. Rye doesn't get snippy about YouTube copyrights. That's worth about, what, 6 Gotti of the Year awards right there? Yeah, fuck it, why not? Put it on the list. Let's go. I can't think of a segue. Shit. The Return of the Obra Dinn is probably the deepest, most complex puzzle game I have played since Portal 1. And by that I mean it's the first puzzle game since 2007 that was so hard I had to look up a fucking tutorial. But come on! How the fuck was I supposed to figure out where all those top men fucked off to? Anyway, it's a great game, fucking get it. It's so good, it actually requires you to think and use deductive reasoning and detective skills and think. Just play it. It's made by the Papers, Please cunt, so you have to play it. And if you don't play it, consider your toes forfeit. Okie dokie pokey, we're almost at number 1, me sweetums. However, we have to go through the honorable mentions because a lot of good shit came out last year, and we can't fit it all on a top 10 list, so let's just zippity-zappity through that real quick. Dusk finally came out of early access, that was alright. Soul Calibur 6 was an excellent character creator. There was probably a game in there somewhere, I don't know, I'd have to check in on that. Celeste was most definitely a video game. It definitely came out this year. Stick Fights the game and Nidhogg 2, both stupid fucking fun with friends. Highly recommend it. Mother Gunship still has those horrendous balancing issues mentioned in the video, and it gets rather dull and a lot of wrong. However, overall, pretty fun game. Still pretty good. No Man's Sky 7? I think that's what I'm up to in this half-baked running gag. Yeah, I've heard that's gotten enough updates and patches and bullshit to finally reach the skyrocketing, blazing standards of fucking bare minimum. But any hoops, number 1 was rather tricky for me because, as you know, I have a rather complex relationship with all of everybody's obvious choices, so number 1 took me a bit to figure out. However, ultimately, the final decision I went with was the game that not only did I keep going back to throughout the course of the year, not only did I get it immediately as soon as I got a Nintendo Switch, just so I could play it whenever I wanted to, wherever I went. The game that kept me company for 3 solid days straight as I was fighting off the effects of both salmonella and the aftermath of New Year's Eve celebrations. Yes, I played this game for 3 days solid straight. It's the best game. It's so good. Fun, highly enjoyable. I'm gonna fucking... It's Dead Cells. Dead Cells it's fucking great. Fucking adore this game. Great combat, highly replayable, highly charming. Love the graphics, love the gameplay. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. I play it fucking all the time on the Nintendo 64. Galgun 2 gets 3 thumbs out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. Ruby still stuck, buy a Humble Bundle.